Good morning, YouTube. It's 10 a.m. in the great state of Texas. And if you thought we were done doing pine board projects, listen, I love working with pine. It's one of my favorite woods because it's so easy to work with. And that's what we're doing in today's project. If you guys saw the thumbnail, I'm sure you did, because why else would you click on the video? We are making something really cool. So I've had these like shelves, like basically just scrap wood from a previous project. I built a shelf a couple of months back and just can't throw away wood because wood is $1 million now, and had to do something with it and decided, you know what? We are kind of on this theme of working with just like scrap pine wood and just figuring out really cool ways to like spice it up a little bit, and that's all we're doing in today's project. So got everything measured out using the table saw, bringing those indoors, and I wanted to do a larger project. So if you guys went back a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, you guys saw me do like an inlay with like a blue rim on a pine board, and we're essentially going to do the same thing, except we're going to do this one to a larger scale. So once we got everything cut, measured, now we're just taking everything over to the bandsaw and doing this outside so I don't have to clean up all this sawdust in my workshop, just sitting on the floor and cutting out some circles. We're going to get everything glued up real nice, neat, and tight, and we're going to let that rest up for a couple of days. And if you don't like me working with pine board, I don't care. Somebody had left a comment on a previous video I'd done using pine board, and I was just like, listen man, you don't have to click the video. That's what makes YouTube and being a creator so good, is that you just make stuff because you want to make it, not because other people want to, you know, bring you down if you do something they don't like. This is just what I like to do. So if you don't like it, you don't have to click the video. But just FYI. So if you're a creator out there, do stuff you love to do. Don't let people on the internet persuade you to not do something. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox now. Got everything glued up really nice and neat. You can see all the, the drip from all the glue. How many vice grips do you need? The running joke is you always need one more. So got everything pressed down, left that open, or left this pressed for a couple of days, and everything had glued up really nice and tight, which is good. If you guys are wondering why my glue looks that way, so I did this project, I think back in August or September, and it was like 100 degrees outside, and in the shop it's about 100 degrees, 90-ish, and your glue will turn into porridge, and you'll get this thick cottage cheese glue in an uncontrolled environment. So that's essentially why it looked that way. So we had to do something different there. But got the faceplate on there. Now we are just going to put this onto the lathe, and this is like the max size for my lathe. So this is a very large blank, and this is the max size that anything can be put on my lathe. So I'm gonna have to push this out because the actual rest is not going to be able to accommodate this. So I had to push this out to stabilize it, and you can see there on the bottom we barely have enough clearance to where we can get the chisels in there and start working down this cylinder. But once we start working off the material, this part goes really easy. Another reason why I like to work with pine, because it's nice and soft, the chisels eat it up real good. I don't have a lot of chip out, there's not a lot of vibration, there's not a lot of feedback. It's just a really fun wood to work with, in my opinion. And all we're doing is getting everything nice and shaved down, and we're just gonna make this large bowl shape, and then we're gonna work the bottom, come back, make the mortise, and then we'll start doing the cool stuff here in just a little bit. So remove the tailstock, coming back with the flat carbide tool, and just get everything nice and flat so we can start making the mortise. But everything looks good up until this point. Not a whole lot of issues here, and now we're just coming back and sizing up the mortise to make it fit onto the chuck itself. And I think I went a little too deep on this one. I can't remember. Sized it up real good, and I had to come back. Yeah, I think I ended up making the mortise a little bit too deep, so I had to take off more material so it wasn't completely to a depth that I didn't want. So now we're just taking off the faceplate. Got this cool bowl, and it looks really cool. So now we're just got everything flipped over. Take that superficial layer off the surface of it, remove the tailstock, and now we're ready to do the gouging part. And this looks really cool. You can see here it just went from plain board, glued up real nice, and now we're just doing some finer work with it, but really happy how this looks up to this point. And gouging, this took literally like maybe 5 minutes. Not a whole lot of issues here. It just eats through. The chisels just eat through it really nice and neat. You don't get a lot of chatter or feedback with it a lot of the time. So this part took no time at all, and now we're just trying to get to a nice depth. You can see all the material getting worked off there. But really, I really like this bowl. And now we're just starting to do the parting portion of it there. You can see, if you go back and watch my video from a couple of weeks back, we did like a blue inlay. And essentially that's what we're going to do here, but we're going to do it at a much larger scale. So we got the edge kind of sized up to where we wanted it to. And now we're just determining how thick we want the actual lip of the bowl to be. And to be honest, I could have gone a little bit deeper as far as the gouging portion of this went, but I just decided to say, you know what, this is like generation 2 of this type of project. We will definitely come back a little bit later and try something a little bit different. And now all we're doing is making these cool rings, making sure they're at a nice depth, because what we're going to end up doing here in a little bit is adding epoxy to it. And this part went relatively smooth, not a whole lot of issues here. You can see, I'm just trying to size up everything where I want it to be. And we didn't do a whole lot of sanding. We went from 120 all the way up to 180 or 220, I believe. And here's all the wood shavings from this. You can see here just making a mess. And this is what the pine board looks like once we got everything gouged and everything was to our liking, essentially. So we're going to go ahead and take this off of the lathe and do my favorite part, which is torching, because who doesn't love to play with fire? So this is kind of spruce up, give this bowl some character. Typically with all my pine boards, I'm going to burn it at some point, because it's the only way, honestly, to make pine boards look cool. You got to do something to it, so I think adding the fire element to it makes it look really cool. A little nice char look to it. But this part took no time at all, and you can smell the pine in the air once I finish that. And just to let you know, it's 94 degrees inside of my workshop, so it's hot. So here we are, getting everything leveled to the way we want it, because now we're going to add the epoxy. So got everything nice and leveled. That's what the popsicle sticks are there for. And decided to come back, and I did a previous one with blue, and I wanted something a little bit more bright, so I thought using this green would be a good idea, and it kind of worked a little bit, but it didn't work nearly as well as I thought it would. So I came back, added some green glitter to it, give it a nice little pop, and visually it looks really good. And I'm sure by the thumbnail you guys kind of saw how this looks, but I thought it would be darker a little bit, but overall really happy how this looks. So now I'm just really taking my time pouring the rings out, really just taking my time, going in circles, and I ended up over pouring, which was kind of it was a good mistake, because it made the wood pop on the bottom of the bowl, and then we just come back, hit it with some wood wax, getting the char off of a little bit. But I really like how this looks, so we will definitely be doing this in the future. This is like generation 2 of this type of bowl, but really happy how it looks. Real cool, hypnotizing type look to it. But overall, I think we took some scrap pine and made something really cool out of it. And again, if you don't like my projects, you don't have to watch them. But thank you for everybody that does. And like I said, make stuff you like to make. Don't make stuff to make other people happy. Make stuff because it makes you happy. So I think it looks cool. So hope you guys like it. Hope you got something out of it. Don't forget to subscribe. All that stuff that every single YouTuber does. And let me know if you work with pine. So see you in the next one. All right, guys. Peace. Alright, so project is done. And this one looks pretty cool. So the inlay looked a lot better than our previous one where we just did the rim. I decided to get a little fancy with it and do the entire inside of the bowl. But a lot larger project. I initially thought I was going to gouge all this down, but I just decided to leave the bottom flat with epoxy so it kind of seals the wood up and you don't get all that char. And we took a majority of the char off the side of the bowl and the rims, but it looks really, really cool. I like how this turned out. It's still super duper light. I think the epoxy probably adds some weightage to it, but overall really happy how this looks. The green I think could have been a little bit darker, but like in real life it looks cool, so probably just need to use more pigment the next time that we do a bowl like this. And yes, there will be another one like this until we perfect it, and then we'll just do a billion of them. But really like how this one turned out. Real big fan of this. I don't know when I'm going to post this. Today is September 4th. You guys are probably watching this maybe next week or a couple of weeks from now. I had a lot of extra time, not extra time, but I've managed to build up some projects, so I don't know the order that they're going to come out in, because usually I like to have months and months of material for the channel. But you guys are, you'll see this year probably. So hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's right now it's 7 o'clock in the morning and it is 85 degrees in my workshop. So I've got other projects that I'm working on right now, so hopefully I get those done before it melts me. So don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.